How are we going to grow the economy from its 113 billion GDP right now to a 200 billion cleaner economy like the Prime Minister announced? So we've identified that it's through the SEZ strategy that we can achieve this economic growth. Simply put, Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, means less is more. We have to be focused. So when we're reflecting after 48 years, and when we start to apply serious introspection, we have to ask ourselves, how much time as members of parliament, as leaders, as technocrats, have we seriously given to understand the SEZ concept? It's trite knowledge that if you apply, and get this, 18 minutes every day and focus on a subject for 100 hours in a year, that's 18 minutes every day, just 18 minutes out of 24 hours, you will become more knowledgeable in that subject area than 95% of the population. This is trite knowledge. So we've had 48 years, not 100 hours, 48 years, and still. And this just goes to show the attention span, the focus that as leaders, as members of parliament, technocrats, that you've really spent on getting serious about the development of the country. So it's an indictment on the government, on the bureaucracy, that after 30 years we haven't achieved a successful SEZ, and we have failed to achieve economic prosperity for the people of Papua New Guinea. But some things haven't changed. The 4 factors of production still remain. Land, the most contentious issue, still remains. Labour, we have a youth bulge issue in the country right now. There's a potential for the demographic dividend. There's a potential to achieve a competitive advantage for the SEZ agenda. We still need capital and entrepreneurship. This is where the intuitive combination of all these other factors comes in. Hence the SEZ agenda. So taking on from what I learned from the eminent speakers yesterday, there's a 3-step challenge here. How do we achieve the linkages? How do we produce that red carpet experience for investors through enabling infrastructure and a one-stop shop domestically? How do we get foreign direct investment into Papua New Guinea?
Can you hit next?
Has it frozen? There we go. So the first thing we need is enabling infrastructure. That's why I take my hats off to the state-owned entities, PNG Ports, Kumul Petroleum, Kumul Consolidated Holdings, Water PNG, PNG Power, for being here to push this agenda to make our rates more competitive. Because without this sort of infrastructure of roads, of ports, of power, of water, of communications, then the SEZ agenda continues to become a pie-in-the-sky pipe dream. We won't realize it in this term of government. According to OECD, in 2022, foreign direct investment flows totaled 1.3 trillion US dollars. This took place amongst 60,000 multinational corporations that had 500,000 subsidiaries globally. So the challenge, the 3-step challenge is, how do we achieve the enabling infrastructure domestically? And how do we garner the relationships with these multinational corporations, of which Forbes according to Forbes, is 60,000. So we have some foreign direct investment, some multinationals in the country. We've got Coca-Cola, we've got Pepsi, we've got ExxonMobil, we've got Barrick, we've got Newcrest, we've got Harmony Gold. These are examples of multinational corporations. So we probably don't have more than 20 in the country right now. Through the SEZ, the potential lies to bring 10, 20, 100. The third challenge, scale. This has got to be the catchphrase for all members of Parliament. How do we achieve scale in everything that we're trying to do? One coffee seedling. A plantation of coffee. When you look at the productivity that one man can produce in a day, the level of output, if you have one person working 8 hours a day, then just imagine you had 1,000 people working 8 hours a day. How much coffee could they plant? How much copra could they plant? How much cacao could they plant? Imagine if you had 10,000 people. Imagine if you had 100,000, 1 million. Hence we've just achieved scale. This is scale, this is the paradigm shift, this is the homegrown economic transformation that is just there waiting to be unleashed. And it starts with 96 districts, 22 provinces, and each and every member of Parliament. What underpins the scale, the enabling infrastructure, the FDI relationships, the SEZ success, the long and the short of it, is political will. The old adage says, where there's a will, there's a way. In Papua New Guinea, the political will is the critical success factor to the SEZ being a success. But it requires the paradigm shift. There's going to be a change in the leadership style. We can't afford to continue to promulgate and propagate this autocratic style of leadership. The style of leadership has to be exemplary. It's got to be do as I do, follow me. Servant leadership. Leaders have to lead by example. There's no other way. The whole purpose of this meet and the SEZ Summit is to talk about how the country can achieve its dreams for economic independence. So I'll end my speech here with simple 3-letter words and 3-letter abbreviations. Key takeaways. We started this whole summit, and I commend you, Minister Maru, by demonstrating to the world our religious predisposition, by saying that this is a God-first agenda. So who do we turn to? We must turn to God. Where are we trying to apply the SEZ? It's just nationwide. It's across PNG. How do we want to achieve like economic transformation? SEZ. That's why we're all here. The potential is abound, it's real, and it's up to all members of Parliament, it's up to the technocrats to fully support the SOEs to get on board, the private investors, the stakeholders, the citizens to really drive this agenda. When do we do it? Now. And this is why it's so important. Why do we do it? Because Papua New Guinea, KBY, Country Blog Uni. You've got to love the country, you've got to love its people, and you've got to say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it now. Because if I don't do it, no one else will. That's the sense of urgency and that's the call to action. With that, Minister Maru, I salute you for your leadership and thank you on behalf of the Department of National Planning. We will continue to support the SEZ agenda through and through. Thank you, Minister.